We live in the cult of the sacred hustle. If you are not up at 5 in the morning and have not scheduled your day down to the second, you are a loser. We have voluntarily turned ourselves into hamsters on the wheel of toxic success and are terrified to stop, feeling suffocating guilt for every minute of rest. But here is the cruel irony. While we burn out our minds for the sake of checkmarks in a planner, evolution looks at us like we are idiots. Our obsession with productivity is not a path to greatness, but a one-way ticket to a heart attack at the office desk. It is time to dissect this global lie and dive into the anatomy of life-saving idleness. How did it happen that shamelessly lying on the couch literally lengthens your DNA and flushes Alzheimer's out of your brain? Why did Churchill and Darwin change the course of history by openly doing nothing? Today you will learn how procrastination reboots your immunity and why your inner sloth is the only one who can actually give you an extra 20 years of life. Get horizontal, exhale, let us go. Number 1. The evolutionary safety fuse. Picture a typical morning. The alarm rings, it is gray outside, and your body feels like lead at the mere thought of the upcoming tasks. We are used to blaming ourselves for a lack of willpower, but the mechanics of the process are completely different here. Your subconscious works like a built-in task manager that instantly scans the upcoming workload. It calculates the cost in calories and nerves, compares them with the potential payoff, and throws a system error. Laziness at this moment acts as a smart fuse that cuts power to the system, so the process does not burn out from a pointless overload. If the reward does not cover the energy costs, the organism simply refuses to load this level of reality. This is not a weakness of character, but a perfect survival algorithm honed by millions of years of natural selection. It seems the developers of our biology initially installed a powerful idiot-proof protection. It is just a pity we stubbornly try to hack it. Number 2. The youth backup. You are sitting in an office chair, the air conditioner hums, and your pulse goes through the roof from another burning deadline. For years, we were told that stress builds character and makes us stronger. It sounds like the rambling of a madman because at the ends of our DNA strands hang biological timers known as telomeres. Chronic hustle, sleep deprivation, and trying to do everything at once physically tear chunks off these protective caps. Every panic attack over a report literally cancels your subscription to life. Lazy people who prefer staring at a wall instead of joining the corporate race keep their cells young for much longer. Their genetic code does not wear out, and their body textures do not get pixelated with aging. They simply do not spend their cell renewal limit on someone else's ambitions. Apparently, the heavenly office hands out bonus years only to those who know how to sit patiently in the waiting room. Number 3. Sleep mode for geniuses. Recall those moments of absolute emptiness when you spend hours hypnotizing the patterns on the wallpaper or looking out the window of a moving train. Society brands such states as a complete waste of time. The script of reality is wired much trickier. In moments of total inaction, the brain's default mode network is launched. This is a hidden background process that starts sorting through terabytes of accumulated junk, building non-obvious connections between files. It is exactly in such hours that the mind of a genius, having stopped processing external noise, produces brilliant solutions to the most complex problems. You are not just lounging on the couch, you are doing a deep defragmentation of your internal hard drive. Epiphanies are born only when your RAM is free from the hustle. It is funny to realize that the greatest discoveries of humanity were made by people who simply knew how to stare into the void at the right time. Number 4. Japanese roulette. Fast forward to the neon jungles of Tokyo, where clerks sleep in the subway and stay at their desks until late at night. Humanity decided that total loyalty to the corporation is the highest virtue of a modern samurai. However, in official Japanese medical manuals, there is a terrifying diagnosis called Karoshi, which literally means sudden death from overwork right at the office desk. The perfect cogs of the capitalist machine simply snap in half from systemic overheating. A healthy dose of cynicism and laziness literally acts as an antivirus against a heart attack or stroke at 35. The ability to snap your laptop shut in time and go feed the pigeons physically saves your heart from a critical crash. We look for elixirs of immortality in expensive clinics, while nature has long ago hard-coded a saving cancel button right into our basic software. Number 5. The digestive patch. Imagine a luxurious dinner at a restaurant, which you swallow on the go while simultaneously replying to angry messages from your boss. We sincerely believe that expensive steaks and organic salads will bring us health under any circumstances, but biology operates by strict rules. The gastrointestinal tract and tissue renewal processes are launched exclusively under the control of the parasympathetic nervous system. This mode is called rest and digest. If you do not allow yourself to relax, your system simply blocks the absorption of vitamins and minerals. Food passes right through, leaving the body starving in the midst of abundance. Laziness after lunch is not the whim of a snob, but a critical driver update, without which not a single application in your body works. Fate clearly has a dark sense of humor. You can spend millions on superfoods, but without banal reclining on the couch, they turn into useless pixelated garbage. Number 6. Billionaire optimization. Let us peek behind the closed doors of Silicon Valley, where the fates of the digital world are decided. We think business moguls only hire obsessed enthusiasts with burning eyes. Bill Gates' famous rule breaks this stereotype with a loud crunch. He always looked for the laziest employee to do the hardest job. The logic here is blindingly simple. A true slacker hates unnecessary movements, so his brain generates the shortest, most elegant, and cheapest algorithm for solving the problem. Laziness is the main architect of all automation and progress on the planet. While a diligent workaholic carries stones by hand, a lazy person will invent the wheel just to avoid straining his back. Our entire civilization was built by people who desperately wanted to minimize their physical effort. Number 7. Antivirus on maximum. Imagine an invisible battlefield inside your blood, where defense cells patrol the territory in search of foreign agents. We buy tons of immune boosters in pharmacies, hoping to strengthen our armor before the cold season. System analysis shows otherwise. People who allow themselves regular idleness consistently maintain a low level of the stress hormone cortisol. In large doses, this hormone acts as a blocker for your internal antivirus. Thanks to calmness, killer cells in a lazy person function 3 times more efficiently, ruthlessly destroying any threats. A workaholic, on the other hand, turns off his own shields, leaving the body at the mercy of the slightest draft. It turns out that the best medicine for all diseases is the ability to turn on airplane mode for your entire nervous system right on time. Number 8. Parkinson's time paradox. You open a blank document a week before a project is due, naively believing that the extra time guarantees a perfect result. We constantly deceive ourselves with the illusion of control over our schedule. The famous Parkinson's law states a heartless truth. Work expands exactly enough to fill all the time allotted for it. A fussy overachiever will spend 8 hours on a task, creating a flurry of activity, rewriting drafts, and faking productivity. A lazy procrastinator, tuning in 2 hours before the deadline, will complete the exact same volume with surgical precision, cutting off all the excess. A limited time resource forces the brain to engage turbo mode and ignore the unnecessary pixels of the task. It is a perfect example of how the bug of putting things off turns into an elegant feature for saving life energy. Number 9. Nighttime brain defragmentation. Immerse yourself in the atmosphere of a nocturnal metropolis, where the windows of those who decided to steal time from sleep for great achievements are still glowing. We are taught to be proud of sleeping 4 hours, considering it a sign of an iron will. Anatomical reality does not forgive such tricks. Only in the phase of deep rest does the glymphatic system start up. This is a kind of cleaning crew that flushes toxic amyloid proteins accumulated during the day out of your neural connections. By denying themselves the luxury of a long sleep, productivity fans block this cleansing process. Toxins remain in the system, increasing the risk of developing Alzheimer's disease by 40%. By refusing to lay lazily in bed, you literally allow your processor to get clogged with digital dirt. Nature does not tolerate heroes. It rewards those who go into sleep mode on time. Number 10. Ancestral factory settings. Fast forward tens of thousands of years ago to the wild savannas, where our ancestors survived among saber-toothed cats. We look down on ancient people, believing their lives were an endless struggle for a piece of meat. Anthropological data reveals an inconvenient truth. Primitive hunters spent about 15 hours a week getting food. The rest of the time they lay in the shade of trees, socialized, and regained their strength. Our basic firmware is absolutely not designed for 40-hour bonding. bondage in an office with artificial lighting. When you feel an irresistible urge to drop everything and lie on the rug, it is not a failure of motivation. It is the desperate cry of your biology demanding to roll the system back to the original factory settings. We have created a civilization that contradicts our own source code. Number 11. Cardiological reboot. Imagine a hot afternoon in the Spanish provinces, where shops close, streets empty out, and time seems to freeze in the thick haze. Northern nations often mock the tradition of the siesta, considering it a sign of economic failure. Massive cardiological reports completely destroy this arrogance. It turns out that a regular disconnection from reality in the middle of the day reduces the risk of cardiovascular catastrophes by an incredible 37%. A short daytime nap acts as a soft reboot of the entire vascular system, relieving accumulated morning tension. While serious men in ties earn early heart attacks in endless meetings, fans of an after-dinner snooze quietly extend their warranty life. Sometimes the most heroic action to save your own life is simply to close your eyes and snore. It seems logic has left the chat at this point, but we are just warming up. If you think this is a bug, just wait. Next come the real code errors. Number 12. Power saving mode of the King of Beasts. Look at footage from a documentary about the African savannah, where a mighty lion gracefully sprawls in the tall grass. We are fed the image of a predator as a symbol of aggression and constant movement toward a goal. The mechanics of survival at the top of the food chain dictate the opposite. This majestic cat is in sleep mode for up to 20 hours a day. He does not fuss, does not chase butterflies, and does not fake busy work in front of the pride. The lion saves his mana for a single perfectly calculated leap that is guaranteed to bring results. Successful lazy people copy this natural algorithm. They minimize empty chores to deliver 100% power at the decisive second. Hustle is the fate of herbivorous non-player characters, while true-level bosses know the value of their peace. Number 13. Evolution on the couch. Let us peek into a dimly lit Victorian study cluttered with books and strange flasks. We imagine the great scientists of the past as martyrs of science, chained to their desks by duty. The biography of Charles Darwin breaks this template with the grace of a bulldozer. The creator of the theory of evolution sat at his manuscripts for no more than 3 or 4 hours a day. The rest of the time, this genius slacker slowly walked in the garden, played with his dog, or simply lay on the sofa with his eyes closed. He firmly believed that excessive concentration kills live thought and blocks creativity. While his colleagues worked their quills to the bone, Darwin relaxedly overturned the worldview of all humanity. Apparently, to understand how the code of life works, you just need to stop fussing and start observing it from the front row. Number 14. Dopamine starvation. Picture a modern evening. You are sitting on the couch and your finger mechanically scrolls through an endless feed of bright pictures on your phone. We are terrified of being left alone with our thoughts, perceiving boredom as unbearable torture. The algorithms of neurobiology show an amazing trick. If you artificially deprive yourself of cheap entertainment and let yourself get genuinely bored, your dopamine levels will crash. The brain, unaccustomed to such starvation, will experience mild panic and feverishly start generating its own creative ideas. It will launch internal mini games and unconventional solutions just to entertain itself in an information vacuum. True creativity is born not from an overabundance of content, but from an absolute sterile emptiness. The scriptwriter of reality clearly made a joke by hiding the keys to genius at the very bottom of boredom. Number 15. Protection against decision spam. You stand in a supermarket in front of the yogurt aisle, trying to choose one of 100 options, and you feel a strange emptiness. We pride ourselves on our multitasking and ability to control every step. The phenomenon of decision fatigue works like a hidden Trojan horse in our psyche. A workaholic choosing fonts, roots, and words every minute completely burns his willpower reserve by the evening. His battery is at 0, and he is ready to scream over any trifle. A professional slacker ignores minor choices, delegates routine, and does not bother with the color of his socks. He saves his RAM for truly important strategic crossroads. By ignoring the system spam of everyday trivia, lazy people maintain an icy clarity of mind until late at night. Number 16. Empire Under the Covers. Imagine the dark years of the Second World War, a bunker in London, where the fates of millions of people are decided and the map of the world is redrawn. We think that leaders of this magnitude should stand at the map with a pointer 24 hours a day, without closing their eyes. Winston Churchill turned ruling the British Empire into an exquisite performance. This corpulent genius rarely got out of bed before lunchtime. He received ministers in a silk robe, sipped strong cognac, smoked his signature cigar, and dictated fateful orders comfortably leaning back on pillows. He clearly proved to the whole world that fussiness is a sign of insecure service staff, not of true power. When you hold the admin rights to an entire country, there is no need to run around the office. Number 17. Built-in spam filter. Remember that sluggish feeling of resistance when you have to go to advanced training courses or go to the country house to plant potatoes. We are used to suppressing this feeling, calling it irresponsibility and childishness. The psychological mechanics here work as a flawless antivirus against other people's expectations. If you feel physically too lazy to do a task, there is a 90% chance this goal has been artificially imposed on you from the outside. It is the voice of society, your parents' ambitions, or the glossy standards of social media, which have nothing to do with your true needs. Your psyche simply refuses to allocate resources to download malware that will not bring you happiness. It turns out that the ability to say, "I do not feel like it," is the most accurate compass for finding your own life path. Number 18. Preserving base textures. You walk into a trendy fitness club where muscular athletes with distorted faces lift iron and runners wear out their knees on treadmills. Humanity has decided that aggressive sports are the only path to iron health and longevity. The physiological truth looks much more cynical. Fans of extreme overachieving get worn out cartilage, spinal hernias, and chronic pain in all joints by middle age. Moderate slackers who prefer unhurried walks and gentle stretching keep their skeletons in pristine condition. They do not rub their base textures against the harsh edges of ambition. While marathon fans pay orthopedic surgeons bills, lazy citizens continue to calmly enjoy the smooth animation of their movements. The body is not a racing car, but rather a family sedan that does not like sudden braking. Number 19. Sugar spike blocker. Let us teleport to a lab where doctors measure the blood levels of a typical middle manager after a hard work day. We are frightened that lying on the couch will inevitably lead to obesity and metabolic problems. The mechanics of biochemistry hold an elegant trap for the fussy ones. With every stressful sprint at work, the workaholic's liver releases massive doses of glucose into the blood, preparing the body for the ancient fight-or-flight response. Since you cannot hit your boss and there is nowhere to run, this unused sugar slowly destroys your blood vessels. Lazy people with their impenetrable calmness are spared from these endocrine roller coasters. Their system does not spam insulin over every little thing, which reliably protects them from type 2 diabetes. Who would have thought that not giving a damn works better than expensive diets? Number 20. The Chinese non-action cheat code. Discover the misty landscapes of ancient China, where sages in long robes spend hours watching a river flow. In the West, we are used to breaking down walls with our foreheads, considering environmental resistance a sign of an important path. Eastern philosophers came up with the brilliant concept of Wu Wei, which translates to conscious non-action. This is the art of achieving incredible results without conflicting with the matrix of reality. Instead of rowing against the current, losing oars and strength, a master of laziness uses the energy of the flow itself. He simply allows events to unfold as they should, only slightly adjusting the course. This ancient cheat code saves decades of life that we usually waste on pointless fights with windmills. Nature solves problems on its own if you stop getting in its way. Number 21. The anabolic paradox. You look at posters of bodybuilders urging you to live in the gym, feeding on pain and overcoming. We all believe the beautiful legend that steel muscles are forged exclusively under the clanking of barbells and the screams of a coach. The physiological bug is this: during a workout, you are not building muscle, you are microscopically destroying it. Your fibers tear, receiving signals of critical damage, but they grow, thicken, and become stronger exclusively during those hours when you lie on a soft couch watching stupid TV shows. The body releases growth hormones and launches recovery protocols only in a mode of total rest. It turns out to be a magnificent irony. Without high quality, deep idleness, all your sweating in the gym makes absolutely no sense. Number 22. The secret doping of champions. Imagine the locker room before the final match of a Grand Slam tournament where the air is thick with tension worth millions of dollars. We think that elite athletes maniacally train around the clock, forgetting about sleep and rest. Statistics crush this myth at the roots. Sports legends like Roger Federer or LeBron James officially sleep 10 to 12 hours a day. They have elevated deep sleep to the rank of their main strategic weapon. This is the highest professional form of laziness, without which the recovery of an exhausted nervous system is unthinkable. While juniors kill themselves on extra night workouts, champions simply draw the curtains tight and head to the realm of Morpheus. The winner is not the one who sweats more, but the one who recharges their batteries better. At this stage, the scriptwriters of reality apparently went to lunch and trusted an intern to write the plot. Can you smell that? That is the smell of a burning processor of common sense. Number 23. Armor against physical bugs. Step out onto a busy intersection of a metropolis at rush hour, where drivers honk and pedestrians throw themselves under wheels to save 2 seconds. We live in a culture of speed, considering slowness a sign of backwardness. The hard numbers of insurance companies reveal the flip side of the coin. People with a phlegmatic, openly lazy temperament get into car accidents and sustain silly household injuries several times less often. A lazy person will never run after a departing bus, risking a broken ankle on the ice. He will not rush to change a light bulb while standing on a wobbly stool. Their slowed down animation of movements gives the brain extra time to assess risks. Being in no rush is the best insurance against sudden deletion from the game. Number 24. The relativity of dust specks. Let us look into a patent office of the early 20th century, where a young clerk with disheveled hair sits buried in dusty papers. We are told fairy tales that the greatest breakthroughs in science require bloody blisters and sleepless nights in laboratories. Albert Einstein loved to be lazy on an epic scale. He slept 10 hours a day and was not ashamed of his periods of absolute idleness. The physicist himself admitted that the fundamental basics of the theory of relativity formed in his head the moment when, disconnected from work, he simply watched the dance of dust specks in a sunbeam. The most powerful insight in human history came not through suffering, but through lazy contemplation. The universe seems to whisper its main secrets only to those who are in no hurry. Number 25. The golden ratio of slacking. Imagine a massive corporate report over which the sales department has been crying for the 3rd week, double-checking every comma. We are used to thinking linearly. The more effort invested, the grander the result will be. Italian economist Vilfredo Pareto derived a law that sounds like a mockery of all workaholics in the world. 20% of efforts inevitably yield 80% of the results. A true talented slacker intuitively feels this balance. He does exactly the minimum that keeps the system functioning and goes to drink tea. The fussy worker, on the other hand, kills his health on the remaining 80% of micromanagement, which brings only a miserable 20% improvement in quality. Efficiency is not the ability to do a lot, it is the art of masterfully ignoring the excess. Number 26. The psychological firewall. Remember those awkward moments when relatives ask you to help them move on your only day off, or colleagues try to dump their project on you? We eat ourselves alive with guilt, trying to be good for everyone around. Laziness in its pure form acts here as a perfect psychological shield. The sincere ability to say, "Guys, I am just too lazy," works better than any complex training on setting personal boundaries. It is a basic antivirus that cuts off toxic parasites used to getting a free ride. People who are not afraid to be known as slackers possess a colossal reserve of inner freedom. They protect their RAM from other people's spam requests. What an irony. To become the master of your life, you just need to allow yourself to be slightly irresponsible in the eyes of others. Number 27. Slow download mode. You are sitting in a noisy cafe with a friend who constantly checks his phone, drums his fingers on the table, and answers out of place. Ever-rushing overachievers are physically incapable of being in the moment. Their processor is always solving tasks from the future. The mechanics of human relationships do not tolerate hustle. Lazy people are in no rush, so they become the deepest and most empathetic listeners. They simply have no motivation to interrupt you or speed up the conversation. They slowly download your information, giving you a sense of total involvement. Family psychologists' statistics confirm this absurdity. Marriages and friendships with lazy partners turn out to be much stronger. In a world where everyone is running a marathon, the ability to simply sit nearby is valued higher than gold. Number 28, preventive bug fix. Imagine a construction site where a crew is rushing to hand over a facility ahead of schedule, covering holes in the walls with cheap drywall. We have been conditioned to a cult of speed, where the phrase "we needed it yesterday" is considered the highest level of management. The motto of a professional slacker sounds different. Do it slowly, but do it right the first time, so you do not have to redo it later. Haste always generates critical bugs in the code, which later require colossal resources to fix. A slacker spends time on thorough preparation because he physically hates double work. He measures every millimeter to launch the process once and wash his hands of it forever. This preventive bug fixing strategy saves an incredible amount of nerves. Haste makes waste, and in life, the rule applies. Slow and steady wins the race. Number 29. Optics update. You spend 8 straight hours in front of a glowing monitor, feeling like sand is grinding under your eyelids and your neck is seized by an iron grip. Humanity has decided that continuous concentration on a screen is the key to high productivity. The biological focusing system of our eyes requires a regular reboot. The habit of lazily zoning out, leaning back in your chair, and staring blankly out a distant window saves you from a severe spasm of accommodation. These micropauses relieve chronic tension from the eye muscles and unlock pinched vertebrae in your neck. While hard workers earn themselves early blindness and osteochondrosis, fans of spacing out keep their vision sharp as a sniper. Sometimes the most useful item on the day's schedule is 5 minutes of legitimate mindless staring into the void. Number 30, the hustle cult vaccine. Dive into the atmosphere of social media, where every second blogger talks about their morning meditations, jogs, and successful startups before breakfast. In the 21st century, people started going crazy en masse from toxic guilt over simple rest. The psyche breaks under the weight of demands to be perfect every second. Those rare lucky ones who know how to be lazy with true gourmet pleasure and without the slightest remorse possess the most stable mental health. They have immunity against the virus of toxic productivity. Their internal antivirus blocks impose standards of success, keeping the nervous system in a cool, unruffled state. It is not the fastest who will survive, but those who have the audacity to simply stay lying on the grass. Number 31, hydraulic stability. Remember those days when the sky is covered with leaden clouds, magnetic storms break records, and half the office groans from headaches, swallowing pills. We are used to blaming it all on bad ecology and age. The physics of blood vessels work according to the laws of hydraulics. People who move through life smoothly, unhurriedly, and without sudden jerks have a steady, stable vascular tone. Their system is not subjected to daily pressure drops from stress reactions. Therefore, they digest atmospheric anomalies, magnetic spikes, and extreme heat much easier. While choleric people burn out from migraines when the weather changes, lazy citizens do not even notice an apocalypse happening outside the window. Their base configuration turned out to be much more resistant to environmental bugs. Number 32, centenarian servers. Let us travel to the sun-drenched islands of Okinawa or the rocky slopes of Sardinia, where the concentration of centenarians exceeds all conceivable limits. For decades, we have been sold secrets of longevity in the form of expensive supplements and complex medical procedures. The answer to these blue zones lies in their striking attitude toward time. Nobody ever hurries anywhere there. Their main secret is long evening gatherings on the porch, a mandatory afternoon nap, and the concept of joyful idleness. They have turned the ability to enjoy emptiness into a national religion. These people do not know the words time management and do not set quarterly goals. Fate smiles upon them, granting extra decades simply because they do not try to live their lives on fast forward. Number 33, autonomous power source. You see news about another round of corporate layoffs where successful managers, having lost their positions, rapidly fall into severe depression. We build our identity around our profession, believing that without a job, we turn into an empty space. The existential crisis hits ruthlessly those whose self-esteem is tied to external achievements. A true, profound slacker is incredibly self-sufficient. He does not need titles, epaulets, or burning deadlines to feel alive. He feels phenomenally good just being alone with himself, a cup of tea, and a view of the clouds. This internal autonomy makes him absolutely invulnerable to social disasters. Strip him of his job and he will just shrug and roll over to his other side. The greatest superpower is the ability to find the meaning of life in the very fact of its existence. And here we close the doors of our archive. All our lives we chase the mirages of success, try to outrun time, and prove our usefulness to the Matrix, while the universe, smiling ironically, hands out the main bonuses to those who realized in time the best way to win this game is to sometimes just not press the buttons. We fight pointless battles, while nature softly lays down a safety net for lazy optimists. Tell me, what system bug have you found in your life? Write your personal fact number 34 in the comments. Keep your internal servers from overheating. Do not forget to download updates through healthy sleep. And remember, sometimes the highest form of productivity is high quality, unapologetic doing nothing. See you on the next level of the simulation.